next speaker, as we await, I think, the Foreign Secretary of Cyprus to come back from his meeting with Pompeo, we'll go to the Lieutenant Governor of California, which, may I add, she's of course Greek American. We know her from the past, but let me point out that California is the fifth biggest economy in the world. So there could be business between Greece and California. So another point to be addressed, I guess. Eleni Kounalakis.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you so much, Simeon. And of course, Alexi Papachilas, thank you very, very much for inviting me to participate in this very important gathering to address new perspectives and new strategies for Southeast Europe and the Eastern Mediterranean. As Tom mentioned, I am a very proud Greek American, and I really do attribute my belief and faith in the democratic traditions that underpin our society here in the United States to my Greek upbringing. As the daughter of a Greek immigrant who fled the destruction of war to come to California in search of a new life, I'm also proud to be so far the only Greek American woman ever to serve as a United States ambassador. And now I am the first woman of any kind to have been elected Lieutenant Governor of the state of California. During my inauguration, I took the opportunity to invoke the goddess Athena because she graces the great seal of the state of California, and I see her every single day on my way to work, which is great. Isn't that great? So I'd like to start my remarks with an observation. The nations of the world are becoming more interconnected and more interdependent every single day, despite how it can sometimes feel. The ties that bind us, I believe, will continue to grow stronger, as it is simply a fact that the problems and challenges facing all of us in the human race have become far too big and far too complex for any one nation to address or solve alone. Trade, immigration, climate change. These are but a few of the realities that all nations must face together as partners if we are to successfully move forward into the future. And today, we are seeing not only traditional nation states collaborating to solve our great challenges, but so too are subnational entities. The phenomenon of subnational diplomacy is becoming a field of practice and study in its own right as states, provinces, and global cities forge their own international linkages. As the Lieutenant Governor of a state that represents, as Tom mentioned, the world's fifth largest economy, the practice of subnational diplomacy has become an increasingly important part of my everyday responsibilities. Recognizing the importance of international relationships to the health of California's economy and to the daily lives of our incredibly diverse population, our Governor, Gavin Newsom, and I are working together to ensure that international engagements are at the top of our state's policy priorities. Within the first few weeks of both of our first terms, the governor issued an executive order designating me as California's representative for international affairs and trade development. In addition, he created an interagency committee, which I chair, to oversee, coordinate, and manage the daily and significant interactions our state's departments and agencies have with their counterparts around the world. 3 pillars of California's foreign relations have now emerged. They are promoting trade, engaging on the issue of immigration, and helping to lead the global response to climate change. Issues which are also, I am sure, top priorities for the nations of Southeast Europe and the Eastern Mediterranean. California did not become the economic, industrial, and agricultural powerhouse it is today by doing business with itself or even the other 49 states. We are the world's 5th largest economy because we trade with partners all around the globe. Like the city-states of ancient Greece, which traded with their neighbors, California has grown strong and has increased and spread our cultural influence because of this as well. It should not surprise anyone here that Europe is among California's most important trading partners. In 2018, nearly 18% of my state's total exports, with a value of $31.8 billion, went to the European Union. That's more than we export to Mexico, which is our state's #1 bilateral trading partner. And California brought in over $38 billion in imports from the EU, statistics which I know Ambassador Lambrinidis knows quite well. And lest anyone think that California is only a land of agriculture and technology, one of our leading exports to Europe is aircraft parts. In fact, the Hellenic Air Force's fleet of F-16 fighter aircraft are being upgraded right now with the help of over 129 California companies. Concerns about protectionism, closed markets, the theft of intellectual property, lost jobs in a globalizing economy with uneven playing fields are all real. But throwing up more barriers to commercial interactions alone is not the answer to solving these problems. So California's big message to the world is to continue to build bridges, not walls, through trade, through commerce, through business, that will bring us closer and help us all to prosper. And Ambassador Pyatt, just this morning, has already enlisted me and my team in Sacramento to help find ways to support and work together in the embassy's initiatives to engage more in helping to bring technology companies to Greece. And I look forward to doing that, Ambassador. So another critical challenge that we in California share with our friends in Southeastern Europe is how to deal with the issue of immigration in a shrinking and increasingly unsettled world. Conflict and rising inequalities to the south continue to push people to our borders and to the European shores. And we have seen and are now living with the political ramifications that mass migration is causing in both the United States and in Europe. We in California do not control the borders of our state, nor do we set the policy on who will be allowed to immigrate to our country or to California. But just as our prosperity has depended on trade with foreign lands, so too has it relied on our ability to attract the best, the brightest, the most dedicated, and the hardest working immigrants to our shores. 27% of those living in California are foreign-born. Half of all Californians has at least one foreign-born parent. So while California may not set immigration policy, we will not be silent on it. As we champion international trade, so too will we strive to attract the best and most innovative thinkers, the hardest and most dedicated workers, and yes, even the poor, the tired, and the huddled masses yearning to breathe free. Okay. We truly believe in the continued vitality and relevance of the American dream and the California dream. And while we agree in the primacy of the rule of law and the need for a modernized immigration process that recognizes the realities of the 21st century, we refuse to demonize those who live among us and contribute to our prosperity simply because their status remains unsettled. Finally, I would like to say a few words about climate change. Climate change is California's #1 international priority. Why? because it is a threat to all of us, and because it knows no borders. Again, the similarities between California and the Eastern Med region are striking. In my state, 10 of the 20 most destructive wildfires in terms of structures destroyed have occurred since 2010. 5 of the deadliest wildfires in the history of California have occurred in the last 2 years. A year ago this month, 85 people died in the Camp Fire. And during the same year, in July 2018, the Attica wildfires in Greece killed over 100 people and were the second deadliest wildfire event of the 21st century anywhere in the world, after the 2009 Black Saturday bushfires in Australia that killed 180 people. Fires have always been part of our lives. Indeed, they are a force of nature that have existed since the dawn of time. But the magnitude, the frequency, and the destructive force of these recent events are unlike anything we have ever seen before. These modern firestorms burn hotter, spread more quickly, and are vastly more destructive due to changing weather patterns that lead to longer dry seasons and less rainfall that in turn lead to drier terrain and more fuel for fire. These same changing weather patterns also now generate stronger winds lasting over an extended period of time that accelerate the intensity and speed of these fires. To combat this real and present danger, California has invested in more firefighting equipment and aircraft. We have pre-deployed resources to areas of risk and are increasing our surveillance technologies to spot fires earlier and extinguish them before they can become catastrophic. We are well aware that there is no magic wand in combating climate change, but our private sector, our academic research institutions, our dedicated government experts are all working together to envision and realize the technologies of the future that we must develop if the planet is to survive. Renewable sources of energy, better battery storage, zero-emission vehicles, carbon capture. These are all being pioneered and put into practice in California. We are setting ambitious goals, realizing results, and at the same time, watching our economy continue to expand. So as I welcome foreign delegations to Sacramento or visit other countries, the message I always emphasize is that we in California are ready, willing, and able to share our best practices, to learn from the experience and expertise of others, and we are excited to collaborate with all those willing to work with us to protect our fragile planet in order to assure a healthy and prosperous future for our children and our grandchildren. And just because our federal government here in DC is, and California feels very strongly about this, it's no surprise to you, going in the wrong direction, it does not mean that California and other forward-thinking states and regions will stand still and deny what we can see every day in the headlines. Climate change is real. It is here. It is driven by human activity, and we must do what we can before it's too late. The message I would like to leave you with is this. As you think about your conference theme of new strategies and new perspectives, think of California. We are transatlanticists, even though we are all the way out there on the Pacific Rim. And remember, please, that our progressive values and our growing economy, which is now bigger than that of France, are connected. California is truly a place where new strategies, new approaches, new ideas, new perspectives, and new ways of doing business have always thrived and where they always will. And we look forward to sharing our experiences, learning from others, and working with other like-minded partners to protect and promote our values, our ideals, and our firm belief in the positive nature of our people and our shared futures. Thank you very much.